Hello, my name is Nefi Nunez, and this is my final presentation for the class CIT 260 on the game City of Aaron that I worked on with my teammate Marcos Villaronga. Let me first start talking about the difference between a static class variable and a non-static instance variable. So a static class is associated with class and not objects. Memory is allocated at the time of loading the class and is only allocated in the program. It's defined with the keyword static, accessible with class references. A non-static is associated with objects, which are instances, can be referenced and modified. Memory is allocated whenever an object is created and is allocated multiple times every time a new object is created. And this is not shared among instances. Now let's see an example of a static class that we find in the control layer of the game City of Aaron. Here we have the code for a crowd control. And we can see several static class variables. Since these are static, when an object is declared, no copy of a static variable is made. So here we can see the variables and the static method. We have the little arrow that is pointing at the static. So we know this is a method for the static class. Let's go over to the model layer. Going to the non-static class, we have here an example of a code we found in the model layer for the crowd data class. As we can see, this variable does not have the word static. They are associated with objects. So looking at the list we have here, we have the year, the population, we have weight in store, and etc. This we will use throughout the game. So this is an example of a non-static class. Now let's talk about arrays and array lists and what they are. So an array is one of the native data types supported in most of all programming languages, used to model a fixed length list of objects or primitive values. This can be byte, short, int, long, float, double, boolean, and char. All of the objects in the list must be of the same data type. Then we have the array list. An array list in Java is implemented as a class. It is a variable length list of objects. This means that you can then dynamically add and remove objects from the list. The objects in the list may be of different data types. Okay, here at the right we have an example of an array. I use the map class for my code, and it creates an array for the location that we will use in the map. So I have the highlighted in red or circle, the location that we're gonna have in our code. This will output the map. At the left, we have the array list example found in the game control class. And here it shows the array list that we use in creating the animal list. This allows us to select an animal and the total that we need to play the game. So as we can see, it has a list that we need for the animals. Now let's talk about enum. So like in an array, it has a fixed length, and all of the elements in the list must be of the same data type. It may be a list of objects or primitive values. Unlike an array, the elements stored in the array cannot be changed, which means they are constant. Okay, here we have an example of our code in the actor class, which shows the members in our team. So it has the method that we need for enum. As you can see, we only have It was just me and Marcus. But what this does, it shows the code that we're gonna need. For example, it shows the authors that created the code. So it's a short code for enum, but it explains what it uses. Let's talk about throw and catch errors. Throw and catch errors, if we play the game, while playing the game, there are no methods to throw and catch an error. The program aborts or terminates. So let's take a look at an example here. We have the method on the top that works for catching an error. When detected, it prints a message. It shows that the catch exception. We can see the message that will display. So for example, we have here the catch exception. If there's an error, it will say saving list to file or error closing the file. Right. Let's talk about now what a char stream and a byte stream is. First of all, a stream is a way of sequentially accessing a file. In streams, you can process the data one at a time, as bulk operations are unavailable with them. But streams supports a huge range of source and destinations, including disks, files, arrays, and other devices. So a character stream will read a file character by character. A character stream is a higher level concept than a byte stream. And a byte stream accesses the file byte by byte. In Java programs, it uses the byte streams to perform input and output of 8-bit bytes. It is also suitable for any kind of file, however, not quite appropriate for text files. So let's see an example for both character stream and the byte stream. As we can see on the top, the character stream, it has the word print writer. It shows the arrows pointing at it. I don't know if you can see it, but it shows that this is a character stream. So that's what it will display. At the bottom, we have the byte stream. And in the code we have here, it shows the file output stream. All right. So here we can see or identify which is a character and then a byte stream. Let's continue. Let's talk about the data to external file. This will allow us to save the game or get a save game. First, the user needs to enter a correct file path to save on its computer. And we can see the example from the code in the game control over here at the right. It has the correct code that it will allow the player to save a game. So first, it needs to output the correct location of file path. At the bottom, we have the game control for a save game. And the code method calls the file path to resume playing the game. Right. So now let's play the CIT of Aaron game. First, let me say that we might encounter some errors due to our game not fully completed. And I also believe that my teammate Marcos was working on fixing some code errors. But let's give it a try. Let me just go over and transfer you to that screen. Okay. I think you can see it now. All right, so here we have a game in NetBeans. And let's Let's try and play it. So first we're gonna run it over here at the top. All right. It takes a few seconds. Okay, here we go. So let's begin. Let's select option 1 to start a new game. Let's enter the name. So let's enter my name, Nefi. And we have an option here on the menu to select the view map, view print a list, move to a new location, manage the crop, save the game, or return to the game to the main menu. Let's select option 2. Okay. So now we have the options for view the development team, view a list of animals. Let's try and select view the development team. Oh. Okay, that did not work. Let's try list of animals. Okay, there seems to be still some errors in that code. I apologize. Let's try the list of tools. Hopefully this will work. No. Okay, as we can see, if we don't write the code correctly on Java, it's not going to execute our game. So that's what seems to be happening right now. So unfortunately, we can't continue playing, but after we fix those errors, it's going to give us the options to select the numbers, and then we can input any information that we need. But yeah, our code is not fully completed, like I said, so it's going to prevent us from playing the rest of the game. But you guys can see now how it works, going through the NetBeans and running the code. So now, unfortunately, since we can't play, we're going to have to finish with our presentation here. But let me go back to the ending of the slide. I think that's the end. So this has been my presentation. I hope you enjoy watching the things I learned this semester. It was a hard and fun class for me, but I enjoy it. So thank you and hope you have a great day. Bye-bye.